Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Welcome to Couch Pilots, all of my friends. The show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason. I'll be your captain this evening. You can call me Captain Black. Right across from me is Captain Philip Rescher. Evening, Captain.
How you doing, Captain?
Very good. How about you?
I'm doing great. It's a Monday night.
Monday, as the song went.
Just another manic Monday.
Right.
Work 9 hours.
Yeah.
Come home. Satisfy the wife.
Yeah.
With doing the dishes.
Oh, okay.
And get ready to podcast, Podcast for about 3 hours. That's my Mondays, man.
Take that flight.
70-some degrees today. Beautiful day. To get up in the air and fly. Just 2 clouds I saw all day long.
Beautiful.
Shaped like... Friendship is exactly right.
Friendship. Whoops.
That's another episode where you do that.
It's
4 in a row.
I'm burpy, baby.
I want my burpy.
It's beautiful out. You're right. It's a beautiful day. A beautiful day to watch television pilots that had 1 episode. A beautiful day to banter for about 10 minutes before we get into it. Yeah. And perhaps even most beautiful and for us to tell the listeners on how to contact us.
Exactly. Very good segue. Just get it out of the way. Contact information, couchpilotspodcast at gmail.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. You send us an email.
We send you an email.
We send you an email back, and you'll automatically get frequent flyer points.
It'll be the same email, just FYI. Whatever email you send us, we're going to send
I personalize it. We're just going to...
Return to sender.
Return to sender. And let's right off the bat, let's do fan feedback.
Okay.
Right off the bat.
Wonderful.
Sorry about this. Richard Troiano?
Yeah.
Troiano.
Great year.
Yes. It was a link to the show.
From what? Where did this come in from?
Facebook.
Okay.
And it says, hey, this is actually pretty funny.
That's a backhanded compliment.
No, I think...
No,
and then I said, hey, we'll see, what did I put? I replied, thanks, man. We got tons of episodes. You just earned some frequent flyer points. That's how easy it is.
It truly is that easy.
It is that friggin' easy. And so thank you very much, Richard. Hope you subscribed on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Mm-hmm. And hopefully you are, because then you will be getting frequent flyer points for some awesome prizes.
And a lot of people out there probably think, what's a frequent flyer point? What's that all about?
Sure.
Finish up.
Sure.
Okay. We have a machine here, a large, heavy, bulky machine. It's I don't think it's got any electronics in it at all. It's all gears. It's all springs and mechanisms.
Magnets, too.
A lot of magnets inside. It's called the pachinko machine. Mm-hmm. It's the Al Pachinko machine. And every single number that comes our way goes into that machine. Mm-hmm. You're like, what numbers? Like, how many people listen? How many episodes we've done? How many people we've contacted through Twitter?
How many people like us on Facebook?
Absolutely.
How many people are following us on Twitter? How many people are liking our Instagram? All these things. If you post something and tag or share a link, the Pachinko machine knows.
It does.
Which is ironic because it is taking information from an electronic source when it's not electronic.
It's converting it to ones and zeros.
Sure. And we have the punch cards.
It's got the old punch card system. It's a relic of the past, but it is a workhorse. Every single piece of information Couch Pilots related goes through this machine, and it keeps track. And you're like, who cares? Who gives a shit? Well, you should give a shit, because if you're one of our frequent flyers, one of our listeners, regular listeners, then you sign up for a frequent flyer program, and the Pachinko machine keeps track of how many frequent flyer points you acquire, and you say, oh, great, who cares about that? Sure. Well, I'll tell you why you should care about that.
Exactly. I'll tell you why.
Please tell.
First of all, you can get a signed pair of aviator glasses.
I want some.
We have aviator glasses that we normally use. We normally wear them in the captain's lodge. I always said lodge, but it's lounge.
And I will say too that they're pilot grade.
Sure.
Aviators.
Yes. Yeah. They're not just some cheap dollar store ones.
No.
We sign them. We send them over to you. Surprise prizes. We give out surprise. we actually had a long, lengthy conversation this weekend during the staff meeting about special Christmas surprise prizes.
Sure. Yeah, I have a VHS copy, heavily used, of The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and that is going to be maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say for sure, but that might be one of your surprise prizes coming out.
Yeah, and then the picture I sent you was a Christmas surprise prize.
Yeah, that was a great picture. That was one of you, Red Hot Chili Pepper style. You had a Christmas stocking over your genitals,
right?
And that we'll get an 8.5 by 11 glossy. We'll
definitely.
have you sign that, send that out. That'd be great. I know coming down the pike too, we also have bronzed baby shoes that I got at a garage sale that we'll sign. And just you never know what you're going to get.
Right.
You never know.
Right. Signed underwear people have gotten.
So yeah, absolutely. Those are a great prize.
The ultimate prize is if you cash in your points and you can be a frequent flyer, you can come and take a flight with us.
Absolutely.
Watch a pilot with us. We sit in the same room. Yep. We make you popcorn. We get you either whatever your beverage choice, wine, spritzer, Coca-Cola.
DSJ will shine your shoes.
Yeah. I mean, you get the VIP. We send a limousine, brings you to the tarmac.
The whole nine.
Yeah. And so we've had some emails, some people wanting lists of pilots because they're wanting to cash in their points. And so there's definitely a reason to interact with us. And that's what we want. We just want interaction.
That's all we want.
We
want action tonight. Interaction, all right.
That's very good. Very good. So, that's what the basis of this.
That's what the show at its core is about. Just people and love and relationships.
Sure.
That's all we
take failed pilots and we go with it.
We polish them.
Polish them
up.
Now, last episode, which was the gay robot episode, at the beginning of the show, you talked about an investigation that you were involved in regarding Tarmac John's injury.
Oh, jeez, yes.
You had to fill out some paperwork, but you were also, I think got subpoenaed or something?
I had to stand in front of a court of my peers, and thankfully you were not subpoenaed.
What? Thankfully?
Well, not that you
I'm a peer.
Well, you are a peer, but I'm just saying you are too close to the case.
Oh.
You could have acted as a character witness,
Sure.
but thankfully everything got settled.
Okay, good. Because I was kind of worried about this whole thing. I thought, Couch Pilots was going to crumble down into a nothing. Based off of like litigation and like money you would have to pay out for.
Yeah. Well, this is what happened. I tell you. So it all started when DSJ grew out. DSJ, for our new listeners, is Down Syndrome John. He's our tarmac worker. He's out there and he's got the golden cones that light up and he waves our way.
Not breasts, actual cones.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not like what's Pauly Shore inspired.
Sure. I was going to say Morgana the Kissing Bandit.
I don't know what that is.
You know Morgana the Kissing Bandit?
No.
Frequent flyers, if you send me an email with a picture of Morgana the Kissing Bandit, you will receive 1 million frequent flyer points.
Oh, boy.
CouchPilotspodcast@gmail.com.
Or
tweet the picture to us with hashtag CouchPilotsBoobs.
Oh, wow. Boy, sometimes I wish I wasn't on the show for many reasons.
Right,
but for one of the reasons,
people that are affiliated with the show cannot.
Sure, yeah. But so Tarmac John, a couple weeks ago, he grew out a beard, and then he was getting too big, and I said, trim it up, please. And when he did, he nicked himself in the bathroom, or so I thought.
Okay.
And he made a big mess. I said, please clean that up. And then I left the scene, and apparently he was taken off in an ambulance, and just kind of some sketchy things were happening.
And the FDA got a hold of you, too?
The Food and Drug Administration, as well as the Federal Aviation Administration, got a hold of me as well. They coupled together on this because of the Ritz crackers.
The FAA won't let me be, because me, so let me see. Try to shut me down on FCF network. I got you.
I killed it. I'm sorry. So anyway, I got a note because, as we talked about last time, we're technically Sky Cops. We have jurisdiction too. And so because I was a Sky Cop and I'm deputized in the air, I didn't take action on the ground when I should have. And so that apparently it fell on me. Here's the kicker. So DSJ shows up to court, right? I show up to court. And I'm dressed in my pilot's regalia, and I look fantastic. Of course,
of course,
crisp. Everything's crisp and sharp, and all my medals, all my awards are on me. And I come in, and it turns out that John was just playing a trick the whole time.
John was playing a trick.
Yeah. You know how John's got...
That little bastard was playing... Now, this is an extravagant... But, again, he can play extravagant jokes on people because he has all that money.
Yeah. This is what happened. John, you know how he's got that Ferrari calendar from '96?
Yeah.
In the tarmac lounge?
Yeah, the girls...
The tarmac lounge is basically just it's like
garage.
A janitor's closet garage, right? Yeah, so he's got this Ferrari calendar.
Janitor's closet garage.
Well, / garage. He parks his bucket in there. Anyway, so he's got this calendar, and he thought it was April 1st.
Oh.
And so he plays this big elaborate ruse on me.
Sure.
And he's like, and he looked at me, gotcha. He pointed his finger at me, he's like, I gotcha. And I was like, John, what do you mean you got me? We are in a court.
Right.
There's a man with a powdered wig up there. This is all very serious.
Sure.
Here's a court of my peers. And he's like, I gotcha. And then he holds up his calendar. And then he's got April 1st circled in red.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's all a joke.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. And I was like, and then I just like, I kind of had this, I was angry.
Oh, God. Because, people don't understand that all those medals and stuff, it's just like the Olympics.
Yeah.
When we're awarded those, but we have to pay taxes on those medals.
Yeah. Every year.
It's like property taxes.
It is exactly like property tax.
What's your property taxes, by the way? I have wanted to ask you. Do you know what your property taxes are each year?
Wow. Whoops. Like $1,700.
Wow.
It's $1,700-$1,800 bucks. Yeah. It's built into my mortgage.
Sure. Well, of course it is. But I'm just curious because
you're looking to buy a house.
Sure.
In the same town as me.
In the same town, not the same street.
Well, either way.
I think you would get tired of me.
That'd be nice just to walk down there to podcast.
Yeah, but you'd get tired of me because I'd be like,
sure.
Hey, what are you doing?
Like, why don't you
leave
me alone? It's 10:30 at night.
Who's over at your house? Why won't you invite me over?
Leave her alone.
Can I borrow your mower?
All right.
Oh, I can just imagine if I come over and try to borrow your mower, you would say no way.
I'd say no way because I don't have one. I use my mom's.
But you can go over to my mom's house.
Here's the code. Here's the code to get in her house. Anyway, I was pretty upset once he. I mean, I think it was like the 7th or 8th time he said gotcha.
But you just look at that face and you just can't stay mad. I mean, cannot stay mad.
There's definitely that because I'm looking into the face of innocence, but also just the relief kind of washes over me too.
Sure.
Did I look good and professional and calm and collected? Absolutely. But underneath, I was kind of a little bit of a
you're a sky cop. You have to always look like you've got your shit together.
Yeah. Sky cops got to have their stuff together. Anyway, everything's good. I've been quote-unquote exonerated. Nothing was even pressing against me to begin with. It was just, like I said, an elaborate ruse.
Sure.
John's back to work out there. He looks great. The beard looks great. He was never hurt. It was all a joke.
Well, it's funny because today I saw him as I was leaving the captain's lounge to come up to the plane, and I saw him and said, John, morning. And he said, gonna get you.
Gonna get you.
Yeah, so I probably need to, next April Fool's.
Wow.
Next April I'll probably have to pay attention.
Well, I mean, it wasn't April that he got me, so just keep an eye on his calendar. You keep an eye on his calendar. That's how you know when it's coming.
Sure. And he has that up in his...
24/7.
Yeah.
365.
Leap year?
Let's board.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
Couch Pilots Podcast. Webster's Dictionary defines couch pilots as two dumbasses that watch television shows that had only one episode, talk about them, rate them, and on occasion interact with the people who made it happen. While I don't fully agree with that description, I will concede that we are both dumbasses.
I just think it's really glad that we're even in there.
Couch Pilots, we started at the end of 2015 when the FCF network was born, right? That's when we started.
Oh, yeah.
And Couch Pilots was the word of the year. Because every year, it's just like the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
They usher in new people to the Hall of Fame. They usher in new words in the dictionary. Couch Pilots was the word of the year 2015.
Yes.
So that's why we were defined. It was an unfortunate definition, but nonetheless, we made it in.
They say asshole, I say potato.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know what's inside of here. I know what's in our hearts.
Oh, a potato.
Potato.
Let's call it off.
Okay.
Today we discuss the pilot episode of Next. Next with an exclamation point or an explanation point.
6 and 1 half doesn't have another.
From the year of our Lord 2002. Great year.
Great year. I don't believe there was any roses that year. Let's see. I was...
Oh, he's broken.
27.
I was 21.
20. Ooh, 21. So this is your year.
21.
This is where it all got going for you.
Not really.
Oh, okay. You're not. Just it was just 21, huh?
You know what? I don't think I had my first drink until I was 31.
31.
31.
Oh, baby. You're 31.
I used to joke that I thought it was 31 that was legal to drink, and that's why I didn't. 21, I came and went, and I didn't care.
Nah.
How about you? 27? Who cares?
Yeah, 27. My life was a wreck.
Multiples of 3 and 9. Who gives a shit?
At this point, it doesn't really matter how old we were.
No.
It really only mattered when it was in negative numbers.
That's right.
What happened in 2002?
Oh, all sorts of great stuff. I'm glad you asked. And well, before we get into that, I will say too that while we do shows, we do seasons of Couch Pilots. 10 episodes we did for the 70s, 10 for the 80s, 90s, and now we're in the aughts. And from the 90s on, we've been going in chronological order. But this episode should be 2009, a pilot from 2009. Unfortunately, we were shanghaied by the writer's strike of 2008, which I think kind of put a lot of things on the back burner. And ultimately, I could not find a pilot from 2009.
It's amazing that even years later, almost 10 years later, after the writer's strike, it's still affecting the world.
Still affecting us. The repercussions will be felt for generations.
Oh, sure.
To come.
My grandkids will feel this.
While we did talk about 2002 a few episodes back, we're going to rehash it again, put you back in the mindset of 2002 by telling you some of the popular events from that year, including Brazil wins World Cup in Korea and Japan.
Huh?
In Korea, what? Korea Republic in Japan. I don't know. What?
Brazil wins the World Cup.
Yeah. Are you a World
Cup? I probably could have held out for a little bit longer.
Oh, I wish you would have.
Go!
Yay.
Soccer, stupid.
And that's how you lose listeners. This is what I love about the World Cup. There are some people in the U.S. who are diehard soccer people.
Sure, and they're rich kids, and they have nothing better to do and drive their Maseratis around.
Which is funny because soccer
is a poor person's sport.
Exactly. And
that's what amazes me.
And that's why it's so popular, because anyone can play it anywhere as long as you have a ball. And most of the times people live in dirt and in grass huts, but they play soccer because they got a ball.
Right. It only takes two people.
That's all you need. And it's funny to me that when the World Cup rolls around, everyone's excited.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows all. Who gives a shit? Is it the biggest sporting event in the world? You bet it is. But soccer sucks.
In the world, but not
in the U.S.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
Right, Super Bowl for life.
Bring on Atlanta. Bring on Dallas. This is for Mike and Papa Bear House.
Love
Super
that.
Bowl Shuffle.
Love that song.
Love it.
They weren't here to cause trouble.
Oh, no.
I think they were. I'm going to stand by that. Estimated 40 million people now infected with AIDS/HIV virus worldwide. 40 million.
Amazing.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I have listened to many interviews with a number of homosexual people.
Yep.
On multiple different podcast formats.
You search these out. Seek them out.
Sure. I love listening to them talk.
You love gay interviews.
I love gay interviews. But, it wiped out whole communities. Like in New York, Hell's Kitchen, it wiped out like almost everybody there.
All that were left were quilts.
Exactly. It was like crop dusting.
It's a sexual ghost town. How is it like crop dusting?
It just spread.
Okay.
Like, you just like a blanket over the top of it.
I see like tumbleweeds made of quilts. That's what I see.
Yeah, Agent Orange. But yeah, I mean, and it was a huge scare throughout the world.
And that was 2002. When I think of AIDS, I think 85 to 95. That's what I think. Ooh, AIDS is big time. That's when AIDS really became known.
I think Magic Johnson got it in 2002.
Oh, that was late to the party on AIDS.
Well, by then it had spread into the heterosexual world.
Yeah, okay.
And that's you know what? To be honest with you, that's probably why it was such a big ordeal, is because it had spread into the heterosexual community.
You think back then we were not as gay tolerant and would have been sufficed to let the gay people die off if it hadn't spread to non-gay people?
Amen to that.
Okay. Well, I don't know about amen to that.
Well, I'm saying amen to your comment of being as it is right, not wow. You really make me be out to be an asshole.
Yeah, I do it. The MTV reality show The Osbournes debuts. It follows the daily events of aging heavy metalist Ozzy Osbourne and his family.
Sharon! Didn't his son ended up being a big druggie, and his daughter was just a big fat cow?
Yep.
And then Sharon, didn't she divorce him recently, or leave him, kick him out or something?
They've got problems.
They got 99 problems, and Sharon is the big one.
She's on The Chew, right? There's a TV show called The Chew.
Yeah, there's an Asian, a black, Whoopi Goldberg.
They got one of everyone.
Like that's not planned out.
I did not watch
I watched it.
The Osbournes
for the first couple seasons, and then just got it never this guy made millions of dollars. All his fame came from music, and this had nothing to do with music whatsoever. Not one lick of music.
It was wildly popular.
Oh yeah,
you got to hand him that.
Well, that's back when reality TV first got started.
2002, yeah, that was really when it was kicking off. They were on the vanguard of it, and they really raked in the benefits of.
Sure, I mean it was no Utopia,
right?
Which is the greatest.
It's the gold standard.
It's the gold standard, in my opinion. That and Real World. True stories! People stop getting along, start getting real.
Love that cowboy.
That first season in New York.
True
story. Had Eric, he was a model. And there was that black girl.
He did, what was that show he did on MTV? The Exercise, The Grind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Good. Hey, great year.
Yeah, and last night we were watching SummerSlam.
Sure.
Sorry to date this recording.
WWE's very own SummerSlam.
Yes, The Miz was a...
Oh, he was on...
A Real World or one of those reality
Road
shows.
Rules or something?
Yep.
One of those. Yeah. The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Worst. The soundtrack...
have you seen his wife? Mm-mm. I'm doing something wrong.
Hey, newsflash, if you look like that and have a bunch of money, you can have sex with anyone you want.
That's true.
Did you need a newsflash? The soundtrack to the film Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
In constant sorrow all through his days.
This recording... this show is
am
built
a
on the back of his songs.
man of constant sorrow. I seen true all my days.
Now, George Clooney didn't sing those.
No, that was the Soggy Bottom Boys. I think that was Alison Krauss's band or something.
I see.
But it was the Soggy in the show. It was the Soggy Bottom Boys.
Surely there is a better name than Soggy Bottom, right? That sounds gross.
Unless you're a baby.
Well, was the band made up of babies?
No, there was made up of Soggy Bottom Boys.
It's like Menudo. Like as soon as you're diaper trained, you can no longer be in the band.
Right.
Just a lot of gurgling and cooing. That's their albums. It won 5 Grammys, including Album of the Year Award and Best Country Vocal by a baby. Fox's... Ladies and gentlemen, the Soggy Bottom Boys.
I am the man of constant
All right, that's enough singing. Fox's American Idol premiered.
This is American Idol. So if that was the first one, that had what was his name?
Howard Stern.
No. The host,
Brian Dunkelman.
That was it was the two guys that were on it.
The most famous guy who's ever come out of American Idol, Brian Dunkelman.
Fuck you! You could help me here.
That's it, right? Is Brian Dunkelman and Ryan Seacrest? Those are the two hosts,
right? But yeah, and so that was the only season that Dunkelman did. And then it was Dunkelman. But except I watched that last one, the finale one, and he came back up on stage and was like and helped for a few minutes, and I would have been like, no way would I have done that.
I wonder what happened if he demanded too much money. Or
he was just awful.
Okay, maybe they fired him because he was awful.
Ryan Seacrest says mere nothing.
Yeah,
mere dinkle.
That guy's got 30 jobs. He was banging broads 10 at a time for a dime. He seems like a gay dude, but he was dating Juliana Hough, right? Mm-hmm. She's a good-looking girl.
He was like the early aughts version of Chris Hardwick.
Nice. 2002. That's 2002 in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
If you forgot about that year and you were alive during the time that the
You
year
forgot
was
about
around,
Dre.
then you forgot about Dre, which you'll never make that mistake again. Yeah. Why did we choose Next? Why did we say, hey, Next, you're going to be on Couch Pilots?
Well, because there's 3 criteria that we use to decide what we're watching. The first of the criteria is A, can we find it? I mean, you can't talk about something you can't find, right?
That's what I always say every day.
This is always the part of the show where you take a drink. I notice. The second one is free. Hey, we don't have any money. We got things to do. We got to find it, and it's got to be free. Right?
Yeah.
Then you get frustrated.
Let's get a drink off here.
And then finally, it had to be a pilot episode that failed, did not go to series. One.
Come on. Yes, you're right. What do you want me to say? I'm taking a drink.
A bucket drink? I'll take a lager drink.
I'll take a soda drink. Songs that remind you of the good times. Songs that remind you of the bad times.
I don't think they were British.
No. I was like, when did the Beatles record that? When did John Lennon... You do John.
Well, that's easy if you try, Dick.
I'm going to play drums on this. Ready?
It's more than a feeling.
More than a feeling when I put my arms around you.
The classic Beatles song, More Than a Feeling. Where can you find the show Next?
Follow our Classically Blue link.
Yeah, go to Couch Pilots.
Safety first.
Always safety first.
That's one of our main staples.
Yeah. Subscribe to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then within our show notes resides Classically Blue links. And I say Classically Blue every time because that's the name of the color.
Right. To be honest with you, Classic Blue is the name of the color.
Right.
But it's actually 13742725156 on the color scale.
Sure, and that's fine.
Okay.
But also known as Classically
Blue.
Blue. So click on that link. It's a safe link. We apply a digital condom to make sure you're protected from all STDs, viruses, anything that can disrupt your phone, tablet, or computer.
A Kardashian.
Any Kardashians will not be allowed anywhere near our Classically Blue links. Click on them, and you too can enjoy, or maybe not, Next.
Right. You two will not enjoy this.
Right.
You two. You said you two will
band
enjoy
U2?
it. Yeah. You.
What about Bono Vox?
Oh, God, I can't stand you two. I've never liked anything they've ever not
It's
once.
more than a feeling.
Oh, I love you.
What was that guy's name? Flea?
The Edge.
Edge, yeah. How pompous can you be to name yourself the fucking Edge? Seriously. Unless you're a professional fucking wrestler, you can't name yourself the Edge.
Who else is in there? There's Adam Clayton, right?
Not related to me.
And then
Maybe he is related to me.
Larry Mullen Jr.
Curly. They call him Curly for short.
Little Curly. All right, let's take off.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
Look at him down there. John, you little prankster.
Yep. Oh, he's pointing at you.
He got me. I see him mouth it?
No, he wrote it in chalk. You didn't see it was on my side, but he wrote it on the
Tarmac?
Yeah. It says "Gotcha" in big chalk letters.
Bastard, I'm never going to live this
Man,
down.
you know what? You need to get him back.
I will get him back.
His birthday's coming.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got an idea. Summary of the pilot. Each episode of Next consists a series of sketches. Many of the show's sketches were constructed with a strong critique of modern television in mind, including parodies of commercials, news, sports broadcasting, and music videos. It's sketch comedy. We haven't done a sketch comedy show yet.
We haven't?
Was Clone Masters a sketch comedy?
No.
Okay.
No, this is the first one.
Well, Crystal Cube, I guess, would be considered one.
That was
right?
a British one, but
it was a huge piece of shit.
The Brits don't matter. British people don't fucking matter at all.
Here's the thing about the Crystal Cube.
It was a piece of shit.
It was a huge piece of shit. It was so dry that it wasn't funny at all.
It was it was so dry that I went to the doctor for eczema.
Oh boy! And what did they say?
You
have eczema.
you got it. Gotcha.
Remember how you came in for eczema? You have it. Gotcha. Eczema gotcha. Interesting facts. Here we pull back the curtain from what everyone else usually sees. When I go to a theater, and I'm always going to musical theaters. I love theater. And I go there and I sit in the audience and I look at the stage and there's all these kids doing their thing. I went to the kids showing of what you're probably wondering, what kind of theater do I go to? I recently saw kids perform The Lion King. It was The Lion King.
Oh
Junior.
yeah. My in-laws did that.
No, they were in it.
No, they saw it.
You have child in-laws?
No.
I went there and of course in the back you got a big curtain.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
What's going on behind that curtain?
What is it?
I don't know. Do you know? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
I can tell you what happens behind the curtain for next.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the pilot in a minute, but let's find out what happened behind the scenes.
You know what? I'm going to zoom in and action.
Next. Next is an American sketch comedy series featuring former Saturday Night Live writer and actor Bob Odenkirk. It was originally produced by 20th Century Fox Television in 2001. 2 pilot episodes and a few extra sketches were filmed, but the show was canceled before airing. Fox ultimately chose to produce Cedric the Entertainer Presents instead of Next.
Wow.
Honestly, may have been the right move. Whoops. Wow. Oh my God. Oh no. We're losing him. That sounded awful.
Sorry. Sorry, listener.
Listener. I don't know if you caught that in there, and I'm going to hit the pause button on Interesting Facts real quick. But 2 pilot episodes.
Right. And
we've never done that before.
No, to me, honestly, it's very borderline if it meets the criteria. Borderline.
And this is how I'll rationalize it to you. We have 3 criteria that you break down every single episode for all of our frequent flyers, and I really appreciate you doing that. It's free. We found it, and they only made 1.
Yep. That's why I was nervous about this one. I was really nervous.
You know what I consider this one? I consider this a little bonus, a little surprise prize for all of our faithful frequent flyers. So we're going to run through 2 episodes of Next. It's not going to take us very long.
People are going to say, guys, it takes you an hour and a half to go through a 7-minute cartoon. We're going to be here all night.
No, don't worry about it. We're going to blast through it. Don't you worry your pretty little heads. This is how I see it.
We're going to blast through it like we blast through an Asian massage parlor.
Perfect example. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine.
Got a little joke for you.
All right. Let's hit on pause real quick on Interesting Facts. No pause, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Pause. No pause. Pause. I recently got the clap. And to make a positive out of a negative, I gave it to a stand-up comedian. Oh, fuck. Never mind. Never mind. It's never going to work.
Maybe the worst joke I've ever heard. I don't even know what I was going to say.
I tried out 4 other people and they thought it was funny. I don't know.
All right. We'll get back to that later. Maybe we'll do that at the end of the show. You're so disappointed in yourself. Most of the shows that we watch, they'd have like 10, 13, 20 episodes a season,
sure.
And there'd be a story arc. You'd grow and you learn about these people, and there'd be a continuous storyline. This is sketch comedy.
Yeah, it's like a Mad TV, like a Mr. Show, Saturday Night Live. Because there's some people who don't understand what sketch TV is.
You're not watching it for a continual narrative. So you watch this, and week after week, the stories don't have to line up. They're just fun little tidbits that they're doing. So I rationalize this by saying this very well could have been an hour-long pilot.
Right.
This is just one. These are 2 pilots that they did, and they don't have anything to do with one another. They just throw these chunks out there, and they wrap them up, tie them with a bow, and call them a pilot. So as far as I'm concerned, this is just one 40-minute pilot.
And here's to me what it is. They wrote, let's say 10 sketches.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they went on ahead and they filmed them all. Okay,
right.
They filmed them all, not knowing which ones they wanted to use. They put 2 episodes together because here's our A, here's our B, our A pile and a B pile, and because they had to have filmed all these probably around the same time.
Sure.
I mean, in the same segment of filming.
Yes, I agree.
That's like we record 2 shows each time we take a flight.
Absolutely. It just makes sense. It just makes good common sense.
Right.
The show unpause on Interesting Facts. The show features a number of notable alternative comedians, both as cast members and writers, including Zach Galifianakis, Fred Armisen, Patton Oswalt, Jay Johnson, Brian Posehn, and Jerry Minor.
Wow.
All guys.
All men.
Each episode of Next consists of a series of sketches. Often common characters or situations are revisited at times throughout an episode. The cast and writing style were reminiscent of Odenkirk's previous sketch comedy show, Mr. Show.
Sure.
And we will get into that for sure. Both episodes begin with a sketch summarizing current events and fictional news team led by Bob Odenkirk and feature a parody music video inspired by contemporary recording artists such as R. Kelly and Limp Bizkit.
Yep.
Yes. End of interesting facts.
Okay.
That's it.
It was close because I almost said something.
Yeah, I know you did. That's why I had to wrap it up quick.
Well, you looked at me. I could see because we communicate physically, we communicate verbally,
right,
and eye contact.
My hands can't reach you. I know sometimes we'll do high fives. It's all foot.
Like this.
It's all foot Morse code. High five it?
Yep.
Nice.
We're at least 50 yards from each other.
Yeah. At least about 50 yards from each other. Okay, well let's I tell you what. Let's break down one of the pilots. Then we'll take a break. We'll break down the other one.
Okay, sounds great.
So let's start off by saying yes, this is a lot like Mr. Show.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Show was around in the early to late 90s, or the mid to late 90s, and it was the brainchild of Bob Odenkirk, who stars in this, as well as David Cross, who does make an appearance in the second one.
Sure.
The two of them, along with a lot of people from here, like Patton Oswalt and Jay Johnston, and who else was on there? Brian Posehn was in Mr. Show a lot. This feels a lot like it was a continuation, like they were making the move from HBO to a network, but it's watered down.
Right.
And it starts like this. Show 101, final offline, January 17th, 2001. Total running time, 22 minutes and 12 seconds. Mm-hmm. It's a long time.
Yeah, we've noticed that, with these pilots, we get to see, like, the block. You know, the network block. You know, like all the information on front of it.
Yeah, and so can you if you click on one of our classically blue links. It starts off with an opening showing all the different people that are starring in the show, and it's The Strokes' Last Night.
Oh, is that?
That's Last Night.
It was very reminiscent of like the SNL intro where it shows each of the people and like them smiling or something.
It seems like it's like while they were filming, and it's kind of like a little goofy moment where maybe they say cut or something, and they
exactly
yeah,
and and then it shows like the got the flashy logo.
Yep.
Clippets of everybody.
Loud kind of alt rock music playing.
Got their name on it. It's. I've always thought that the SNL one was really smooth. It's always been very smooth.
Smooth sax.
It's not hurried. This one was hurried through. Like, hey, this person's on. Hey, this person's on. Hey, this.
Well, they've only got 20 or half hour,
That's
where
true.
SNL's got 90 minutes.
True.
And I will say this. I don't know what they gave the audience, but they are going crazy. They cannot believe what they are seeing. The laugh track is unhinged.
It's so painful.
It's a nuisance.
And I never really noticed a laugh track as much as I have since we started doing this show.
Yeah.
And mostly I don't think I hear it very much anymore, except with a couple of network comedies.
It's a thing that is dying. I mean, you and I watch a lot of Netflix and Hulu, and it's a thing of the past, really.
Yep.
Every once in a while, someone will do it kind of like for irony.
But it's like the thing is it's like somebody who just pushes the button, and it's like there's two laugh tracks. There's two different laugh bits. You know what I mean? Like ha 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 and ho ha 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 ha.
I like that one.
And it's just back and forth. It's just those two, no matter what joke it is.
Yeah,
it's heavy. It's heavy on here.
Now, it is very heavy. I would like it if there was an actual live audience, like Saturday Night Live.
Right.
Because on Saturday Night Live, if something is bombing, you are going to hear it bomb.
Yep,
and to me, honestly, a lot of times that's a lot of the fun of it. Mm-hmm. The later episode or the later sketches get weird on SNL, and that's what I love. I love the weird stuff that happens late that's not topical, that's not necessarily political. And when they let it bomb and when it gets weird, you know it. Because that audience is like,
okay.
Why can't that happen on this show? Why does every joke have to be the funniest thing every person in that audience has ever heard?
That's a good way of putting it.
They start with the news, which, again, is just like SNL's Weekend Update.
Mm-hmm. There's like the next news as well.
Next news, yep. So it's their version of the news, and it starts off with Bob Odenkirk saying, hey, I like how you look. You look great tonight. And he kind of gets into detail to a creepy degree. He does not like the way Jay Johnston looks.
No, not at all.
But it's kind of a weird thing.
Sure, he's basically flirting with everybody.
Yep.
And making them feel uncomfortable. And then they just go into the news. News
Shitty
stores.
jokes.
Yeah.
Shitty jokes.
Winona Judd. No, Winona Ryder. I'm sorry.
Was that on this one or the second one?
No, Winona Ryder was the first one.
Okay.
She stole, and
it was bad jokes about like airport luggage, and then like Angelina Jolie being crazy, just like shitty like hack jokes.
Right. It was
they were bad.
A George Harrison joke about him just recently passing away, R.I.P., and how Ringo was the only good one left, or something. There.
Or no, when Paul dies, Ringo will be the best one left. And then they go to Focus on Talent. It's a talk show. I think it's like a German talk show.
Yes.
Where Fred Armisen plays a German character. It's honestly a lot like his character from SNL named Noonie. Mm-hmm. It was Noonie and Noonie. It was him and Maya Rudolph would play these very bizarre German characters, and they would talk like that. It's the same voice.
Sure.
And basically, he's interviewing Ray Romano and just kind of shitting on
about the Ray Romano show.
Yeah, about Everyone Loves Raymond, and it's just shitting on him, and it's not funny.
No.
Fred Armisen is awesome and completely capable. This did not work.
No,
there's nothing clever said here.
No, and it doesn't help that they split it up. But we'll touch on that later.
You're right. We can touch on that right now if you want.
Okay. So it's not like Saturday Night Live or where there was one skit and they played all the way through. They would play. Okay, here's a bit of a skit. We're going to come back to it, and then they bring it back later on. So it gets broke up.
Yep.
Would this skit have been funnier? Nick Swartzen was in this too.
He was in the second one, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But no, I think you were saying if they hadn't chopped up all these, because
I guess for me, I'm just I'm reviewing that as like this whole bit, like
right. But I think you were going to say, would it be funnier if they had left it all together? And my answer is no, it would not be.
Yeah.
It's still not very funny.
Sure.
They take maybe like 4 or 5 sketches. And they chop them up into like 90-second intervals,
and they
splice them all
like a
together.
deck of cards. They just
Yep. And I just show me the whole thing at once.
It doesn't help. It
does not help. And I think they're probably taking a look at it as like, hey, we only got 22 minutes. Mm-hmm. People, they want to see cuts. They want to see nonstop action. If we cut it up like this, maybe this would be the best way that people would want to consume it.
And you know what? To be honest with you, in 2017, that might work really well.
You think people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter?
Yes, I think people want constant
instant gratification.
Yes.
Next is a bit where it's one of 3, I think, that Zach Galifianakis does. During his stand-up act, a lot of times he sits at a piano and plays.
That's a big part of mostly his early stand-up was him playing the piano. He does an amazing job. He's an amazing piano player.
He's great. I love Zach Galifianakis. His
I was like, is that Mozart? And it's not that Zach Galifianakis appearance that you're used to, probably from like, Weekend in Vegas or Weekend in Vegas 2 or Weekend in Vegas 3.
Great movies.
This is a short hair, beard trimmed up.
No beard, only a mustache.
Oh yeah, and then not overweight yet.
Not terrible. And he's back. He's like trim now. He's very trim these days. Yeah. He's there playing the piano. It's like in a lounge situation, and there's a beautiful woman sitting at the grand piano and they're having a drink, and he makes some sort of weird sexual joke. And the thing is, every time they cut to him, there's a new woman sitting there, a new beautiful woman, and every time he makes a joke that's off-putting to where they leave.
Sure, it's like he's trying to flirt with them in a comic way,
right?
You know?
And then after this, we have I'll say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Network break. High five it. Nailed it. Network break 1, indeed. We come back to Internet Chat Room 405, and this is a segment where I think the idea is everyone who gets together in chat rooms online and says shitty stuff to each other is meeting in real life.
Right, and chat rooms were a big thing at this time.
Absolutely.
AOL, American.
It was topical.
Yes, very topical. And yes, that would be funny to put these people that talk shit to each other because it's just a screen name.
And they have stickers with names on them, and the name they have is not their name, but it's their screen name.
Yeah. Right.
And they're sitting there arguing about trivial bullshit like superhero powers and movies. And
Bob Odenkirk is porn star 69 because he's seen 69 pornos. Patton Oswalt is Red because it's part of his name, which is Fred. And that's the first 2. Like I said, they were talking about Superman or something.
There's like 3 or 4 of those where they cut to that. Next, they go back to Zach. He says something stupid to a woman. She leaves. And then it goes back. It goes to like a Senate hearing.
This is the worst of the worst.
I may agree with this.
This is the worst. It doesn't go anywhere. It's I found this to be very painful.
This to me, there are parts of it that were better than the Crystal Cube. This is my opinion. There are parts of this that are better than the Crystal Cube. When I look at the Crystal Cube, I see there's, like we said before, there's very capable and great actors, some comedic people in there, a lot of talent that was not harvested yet. That is not the case with this show.
Right.
There's a lot of seasoned people in here that are making some really bad decisions.
Right.
This is not funny. These guys know what they're doing. They had a lot of success on HBO. Maybe they were pigeonholed by what they could put on Fox.
Could be.
But they shouldn't have gone into it in the first place if that was the case.
Right.
These are good. Brian Posehn, Bob Odenkirk, Jerry Meyer,
Oswald.
Galifianakis, Patton Oswalt, David Cross. These are all funny people.
Fred Armisen's
great. These are all great people put in a really shitty situation. And you're right, this may be the shittiest of all of them.
Right.
A courtroom scene where they're trying to decipher and talk about the
hip-hop lyrics.
the ethics or morals behind it. And Bob Odenkirk plays
a very old man with all kinds of machines hooked up to him to keep him alive.
His name is Storm something Thunderpants. I don't know. Oh, here it is. A Stroke Thumberland. Yeah. But it's basically a take on Strom Thurmond. Do you remember Strom Thurmond? He was a very old, like he was a senator into his 90s. He died during his term. He had been in the Senate, I want to say like 50 plus years, and he was kind of known for having an old school racist kind of. That's who he was parodying. But even knowing that, not funny.
I didn't know that, and it probably wouldn't have helped it any.
It did not help someone like myself who knew what it was. It did not help at all. So you weren't missing a lot. It cuts from that and goes back to Internet Chat Room 405.
Yeah, we have Sexy Kenny 12, and I'm trying to remember why it was. That was Posehn.
Brian Posehn, he comes in and talks to a couple good-looking girls.
Sexy Kitten 12, because he had 12 kittens.
Yep. And then he goes and talks to a couple of girls, one of which his name is Camel Toe, and the other one was, you know what?
Something a bakery.
Hot Rack 9.
Hot Rack 9, because she worked at a bakery, and it was about her breasts.
And yeah, so you have these names, and then the reason behind the names is the punchline of the joke.
Sure.
Joke's not funny.
No, not at all. Then there's SA Automotive, and
this is the funniest thing to me.
This was good. It was Jay Johnson.
Yep, Johnston.
Jay Johnston, and he was on Mr. Show, right?
He was on Mr. Show and the Sarah Silverman program.
Right, and he was basically the dumb brother of a guy who owned auto sales place.
This looked like a shitty local commercial with a guy in a suit standing in front of a green screen, panning over all the different options and the vehicles in a used car lot. And yes, he had made all these bonehead decisions while his brother, who ran the place and knew what he was doing, was out of town, and he made a commercial about it.
Right.
And that's it. That's it for that one.
Yeah,
but, and then,
that one is a highlight. I would give that one it's of the horrible cream.
Yeah,
it was the only one that kind of rised somewhat to the top. Then we go back to Focus on Talent with Fred Armisen, more German jokes about how bad Ray Romano is.
And Ray Romano, he obviously he's in on the joke, but it
didn't go anywhere.
It's shitty. It's just basically you're ugly, you suck, you're dumb, and it's like, why is that funny?
Why would it have been funnier if maybe Ray Romano fought back or made a confrontation out of it?
Maybe
it's like, oh, Ray Romano's just such a nice guy that he just sat here and took it.
Yeah.
Back to the chat room.
You got Pure Blood and KKK 12, which they both thought they were going to be meeting people who were racist or in the Black Power movement. When actually, there's just two racist guys, one racist black guy and one racist white guy, who bonded over what? There's something that they kind of walked off on, right? They walked off kind of agreeing on something.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
And then he says, I think they agreed on keeping the races separate.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
And then they left saying my Nizza.
My Nizza.
And was there something where they would say Nizza that made sense? I can't remember. I thought there was something that they. Anyway. Go back to the courtroom. Continues to not. Bob Odenkirk's his old man character doesn't know street terminology.
He's like, why is a woman here? And then
1, 2, 3.
Network break 2.
High five it. Zach back on the piano. Another hot girl. Another dumb sexist joke. He leaves. And I say sexist joke because that's what it was. Sure. I like a sexist joke.
Yeah. Was it this one? It was this one. I think was something about going a mile because he'll give you an inch.
Yeah.
About his penis being small.
Walk a mile, my inch, and I'll give you an inch.
Are you ready to walk a mile because I'm going to give you an inch or something like that?
Yeah. Okay, great. Small penis joke. Well done. Not clever. Not at all representative of what he's capable of.
Sure.
Back to... It wraps up the 2 of 2 on the Essie Brothers commercials, and this is to me is like, all right, this is funny.
Yep, Steve is back.
This is the payoff.
The brother is back, and he's like, hey, all you guys that got cars and stole cars and were given cars, get back here.
Yep.
We'll make you a deal.
And Bob Odenkirk plays the brother. And this is funny.
Yep.
The one with Jay Johnson was okay. And then this is the big payoff, and it was funny.
Yeah, and it really helped having Jay in the back
stumbling
around and just like, hey, what's going on?
Back to the courtroom again for Stroke Thumberland?
There's too much Stroke.
Lord.
Too much Thumberland here.
Oh, my God. And then it cuts over to Latoni, who is Jerry Minor. He's playing like a rapper. He's a black dude. And he was in the courtroom scene defending lyrics or transcribing lyrics or whatever it is. And then he gets he's part of Central Patriot. Is that what it was? It's an interview. He's doing an interview outside his trailer. And he's talking very nonsensical, and he's debuting his video, My Allegiance, Lovin' on America. It's a love song to America and its flag.
Yeah, and then it ends up being sexual, and like, yo booty.
Oh, yeah, your booty.
Yo booty. And basically in the video, like, he's carrying around his flag, and like...
Whining and dining it.
Whining and dining it, 69ing it, and then he ends up being in bed with the Panama flag.
Ooh, busted.
And the USA flag sees it. He's like, "Oh, honey, I ain't be cheating like that, And it kind of reminds me of a really bad version of an Adam Sandberg digging a box. You know what I mean? Andy
Samberg.
What'd I say?
Adam?
I thought I said Andy. Let's rewind it. Hold on. Andy Sandberg's digging a box.
Wow. I apologize. I'm sorry, you did say the right one. My mistake. At the end, it's kind of like saying, I'll never forget September 12th or 13th. Something like that.
Yeah.
The card at the beginning says this was done in January of 2001. IMDb says it's 2002, which is why we announced that it was that year and put you in the mindset of that year. So I'm really at a loss here because they're talking about the events of September 11th, but at the same time, they said something about January.
You know what? It was a typo from
it's got to be.
It's secretary typo.
It's got to be a typo. Back to focus on talent again. Is the 22 minutes not up yet?
No.
Please.
And this is when Nick Swartzen stands up in the crowd and is like, "Can I throw this tomato at you?" And Ray Romano's like, "No."
Oh, that was Nick Swartzen?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't really.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And which is ironic because last week we talked about a Nick Swartzen
gay robot.
And he ends up throwing the tomato. Back to the chat room for the finale of the chat room bit.
Yep.
Sexy Kitten 12, who is Posehn, finally meets Busty whatever.
Plump and Busty.
Plumpy Busty.
Happy and Plump or something like that.
And he gets all mad and he's like, "You're a liar," because he thought, based on her screen name, that she was a tubby girl.
He wanted a chubby girl.
And she was a
buxom blonde.
Hell yeah, buxom blonde with some booties.
The Tiggle Bitties were hanging out. After this, 3, 2, 1.
Network break 3.
Boom. They come back, and it's just the credits aren't rolling, but they have a thing where it says credits, like they were going to add credits later, and then the logo. And the whole time this is happening, it's more of the courtroom.
God, that senator, it's horrible.
It's so bad.
That was
the end.
That was the American. That senator's bit was like the American version of Crystal Cube.
Oh wow!
It was so bad.
That's very low praise. Let's take a quick break. We're going to listen to our good friend Shannon Johnson with S&M Radio, and we'll be right back to talk about the second pilot for next.
All right.
Step right up, step right up. Are you a fan of the macabre? Do you enjoy blood and guts? Does gore get you excited? Is getting scared your thing? Do you like horror movies? Boy, oh boy, do we have the right show for you. S&M Radio is the best horror movie podcast on the web. Shannon and Mark discuss a different horror movie topic each episode. Some episodes are about specific horror movies. Some episodes are about folks involved with horror movies, while others are about top 10 lists of horror movie topics. All with great music from all genres. I should warn you right away, spoiler alert, those two yahoos pretty much give away everything every time. Come one, come all, down to S&M Radio, where nothing is too taboo.
I'll tell you something that's not taboo.
What's that?
It's S&M Radio.
Ooh.
You like horror movies?
Or are you a fan of the macabre?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a fan of the macabre, check it out.
I'm a fan of Corn on the Cob. Should I still check it out?
Yes.
Nice.
You should. If you like Freddy, you like Jason, you like Halloween, you like
Like Chucky, Pinhead.
Yep. Pinhead. I don't think they've ever done that. I'm gonna have to write into this show.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, they love that Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, all that great stuff.
Rob Zombie.
Yeah, Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie's got a new one coming out.
Candyman, Puppet Master.
Candyman.
Whoa, buddy. Is this the clown one? Is that the one?
Like evil carnival guy or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, if it's Rob Zombie, it'll be fucked up.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go on real quick. And again, this is the first time we've ever done this, where a television show has had 2 pilots.
Sure.
So let's dive into this one real quick. You got the same intro, the exact same intro, right?
Show number 102.
Yep,
Final
show 102.
offline.
Yep.
117. And see, it has the same date on it.
It does.
I know that they filmed all these together. They had to have. They're like, okay, we got these 10 skits. Let's do
maybe they just filmed them all. They didn't know what they were going to use.
Yep.
Maybe they weren't even sure how long the show was going to be.
Sure, right. They could have said, well, in case we have an hour, let's write for an hour.
Sure.
Let's write an hour's worth of content and then bring it back.
They start again with Next News, which again is the same thing as before. It's a parody of, or it's like Weekend Update from SNL. This time they talk about Harry Potter, and Bob Odenkirk kind of spoils it for everyone.
Well, he reads the title of that. The movie at the time was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
And just reading the title, people think that he's spoiling the movie.
Right. And everybody on the staff, the weather guy just throws money. He's like, here's my $8. Thanks for ruining it.
The laugh track really is prominent here. It really kills this bit. And at the end of the bit, Bob Odenkirk says, "Everybody mad, me sad."
I wrote that down too. Everybody mad, me sad.
That's silly. More Weekend Update stuff. They go to Osama bin Laden. Where is he? They use the same joke about George Harrison. So that's again, we were talking about that before. How that seemed like it was probably filmed at the same time because both pilots had a George Harrison recently deceased joke. Then they go to something called Lighten Up America
with Roger Billy Bush.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be like a third cousin of George Bush.
Yeah, I think you got Roger Clinton, who was kind of the loose cannon brother of Bill Clinton, who's kind of a black sheep, if you would.
Sure.
And so like they're trying to find one for George Bush.
Lighten Up America.
Yep. And so this is when I kind of put into focus a lot of these bits. They're relying really heavily on like goofiness and funny voices. Mm-hmm. Just like everyone's got really like outlandish voices,
right.
And that's where the heart of all these characters are.
And they're like, you know what?
Better or worse.
If this skit's not working, we're just going to turn up the laugh track a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's force people to laugh.
Oh boy! Then it goes over to Sergeant Fred, which is Fred Armisen, and he is heading into an airport to show like security techniques. Yeah, to kind of show them what they're doing wrong.
Airport security trainer.
And this portion of it, because again, everything's chopped up. This portion he focuses on not blinking. And he says, if as soon as you blink, someone's going to get by you.
Sure.
And he is telling everyone that he doesn't blink, but in fact he takes very long, slow blinks.
Right. And then he says, "No, I didn't blink.
Yeah,
that was you blinking."
Right.
And this is of airport security training. This is number 1: never blink. And I'm a sucker for Fred. And I laughed at this beginning part of it.
Yeah. Some of this was okay. Fred is fantastic. After that, they go back to Next News, where they cut to Jay Johnson as like a sports reporter, and he is outside of the United Center in Chicago.
His name was Bill Genders.
Bill Genders. Yeah, they're outside the United Center in Chicago, where the Bulls are playing the Wizards, and it's like, oh, Jordan's out of retirement. Oh, he retired.
He's retired.
He's back in. He's back out. Yeah. He makes the shot. He dunks it. He's back out. He got fouled.
It went on too long.
Back and forth.
That's all it kept doing.
Whoopee.
Yeah, it would have been comical for maybe three or four of those. Hey, he retired, but they went to like 12 of them. They did like 12 of them.
Yeah, it was rough.
My favorite part of this one was up next. Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Network break 1.
Boys in a bar. This really didn't have a name for it, but you got 4 guys in a bar. I think it was Bob Odenkirk, Jay Johnson, Fred Armisen. I can't remember who the other one was, but they're all sitting in a bar.
Black guy.
Oh, Jerry Minor. Okay.
Okay. Well, I didn't know how to name.
Yeah. Yes, the black man had a name.
Token.
The guys are like, oh, you know what? We're all drinking. We're all watching the game. Game's not up, but I got to go home. I'm going to call my wife for the next.
No, you don't have to. I used this last week. Watch this.
He says, give me my tube.
Give me my tube. And he's talking, hey, honey, I fell in a hole.
Yeah, he's talking through his cell phone, which is a very early cell phone.
Sure.
And he was talking through this tube, telling her that he fell down a hole and that he'll be home in a little bit. And she was, okay.
Yeah.
No problem. And then...
Bob Odenkirk's wife.
Oh, I think that doesn't happen until the next one, though, right?
Sorry.
That's fine. They go back to airport security.
No. Before airport security, the allergy commercial.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
For Cloxamine D?
It was the other thing before. Yeah, Cloxamine D.
Well, there's a couple things before that. It goes back to Fred, and he's interrogating people. It's just awful interrogation techniques. Then it goes back to the guys in a bar. And Bob, like you said, tries the thing with the hole in the ground. And they argue over the hole depth. You remember that?
Yeah.
The next one, next on my list here is the Cloxamine D.
Wow. Okay. 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, so he said, "I'm going to try the same thing on my wife. I'm going to tell her I'm stuck in a hole." And they start arguing about the depth of the hole.
Right. He gets into way too many details. That was the whole point. Was he's giving too many details.
Yeah.
And the more details you put in a lie, the less likely that lie is to work.
Absolutely. And then
anybody that knows that, anybody that's
a seasoned liar such as yourself.
Sure. Anybody that's cheated on their girlfriends or had them cheated on them.
Yeah, you learn from others' mistakes.
Yeah, the guy's name was Blake.
Then you go to a fake commercial, Cloxamine D. It's got a list of side effects, right?
Yeah. And this is probably my fault because I really got tired of taking notes because I really got out of touch with this thing. These yes, we understand every drug commercial on TV there's side effects at the end. Let's exaggerate that.
Well-worn territory.
Then let's make the next product to coincide with those, and then it has side effects.
Proxo 12, Cloxamine D side effects pill. There's a commercial for that. I don't know. Class Mr. Show. I have some weird notes here about Mr. Show. Consistent stool. I think that's what it said.
Yeah.
Then they go back to airport security.
Yeah.
They're talking about how this girl's underpants are a weapon.
Yeah, number 3 was checking luggage. And then that's when he talked more about takedowns.
Yeah, and he kind of positions her into a tea kettle position.
Yeah, and then it ends up being, sings the song on a little teacup.
Go back to next news. Jordan update. Goes in and out of retirement still.
Goes into baseball.
It goes into baseball.
Retires from baseball.
Great. Hilarious. Real good. Guys in a bar. Go back to that. Bob is really blowing it with his wife on the phone.
He's like, come down here and see it.
He's like, the BBC is here. They're reporting on it. You can't watch it here. It's only being reported. It's like, okay, very good. And then it goes to anti-suicidamycin, which counteracts the second drug, which is Proxo 12. So it's a third pill commercial. I think the only funny thing in there was like the inappropriate high fiving.
Yeah, that was funny.
There's just a guy constantly high fiving his lady on a
they're at a picnic. Yeah, and like the first few she's into, and then he keeps doing it while he's drinking wine, and she just holds her hand up.
Actually, I think I'm going to pop some Proxo 12 right now.
All right, cool. I'll do some too.
1, 2, 3.
Network break 2.
High five it. All right, out of commercial break. Now you got a lawyer office. And David Cross is really, when you got young, scrappy David Cross, it's good. Mm-hmm. He's kind of old and grizzled now.
And lazy, in a way.
Yeah, now he's just got a big beard, and he's just kind of, like I said, chubby and grizzled. Mm-hmm. But this is young, thin, scrappy David Cross. This is the kind of David Cross I like. And he's playing Arnie Maxwell. He's a shitty lawyer that will take any case, like work comps, and then also if you're Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, it's work comps and Osama bin Laden. And they show some testimonials. And, this one was a little funny.
It was all right. Yeah, David Cross, just his energy. Sometimes people are like Zach Galifianakis. He can just get out on stage, and while he's just kind of staring down the audience for the first 30 seconds, you start to laugh.
Sure.
Because he just has his presence about him. David Cross can do something very similar, I think, especially back then. Goes back to Fred at the security, and it's now it's about more not blinking. You got Nick Swartz in there.
At number 4 is Ask the Right Questions. And then Jay Johnson.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah, he comes in and he's got a skull shirt. And everything that Fred Armisen is taught his people, he's doing the opposite.
He's thrown to the wayside. He lets his really creepy, suspicious guy go right through airport security. goes now to behind the video of My House, My Rules by the Breadwinners, which is just a bunch of dads in a garage band, and they're singing about dad things.
My House, My Rules.
Right. It's a kind of a parody of My Way or the Highway by Limp Bizkit. Yeah. And I have awful question mark. Was it? It was
awful.
It was. Okay.
It wasn't well written. It was not well written. The rhymes and the flow of the song. I mean, if you're going to do a parody, it's going to have to be pretty good. It's going to.
Yeah, I agree.
And it just wasn't good at all.
One of the great things about The Lonely Island, those guys, they do a lot of rapping, but it's good rap.
Sure.
And it's funny. They always say, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. They're going to rap well.
Right.
They're not going to shit on the art of rapping. They're going to rap well about funny things.
Right. Exactly.
This is not very good, but I will say when I look at Bob Odenkirk, he looks just like an old white dude to me. He looks like an old white dude. He doesn't look like a funny guy.
No, he's like the guy next door that mows the yard.
He absolutely looks exactly like that. But he's very capable. I like Better Call Saul on AMC. I like a lot of his stuff on Mr. Show. He does some stuff with Tim and Eric that's funny. He is all in on this bread.
Oh, yeah.
He totally goes for it.
Yeah, he does not. He's not cashing it in at all. He thinks this is going to work.
Yeah, he's all in.
He believes in it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think maybe about him and Cross as well is they believe what they're writing is good and they stand behind it. Whether it bombs or not, they don't even really, to be honest with you, they probably don't even worry about that. They're like, I think this is funny. I think people are going to think it's funny and we're going to go, balls deep in it.
So I would definitely respect him for that. It was not funny, but he really went for it.
Oh, yeah.
So God bless him. At this point, we go back to Roger Billy Bush, and now he's promoting some sort of pay-per-view event with racing, wrestling, and wet T-shirts.
Yep, the RRWTF.
It's like a commercial.
Sure.
And the best part of this commercial, and not because it was sexy, but this girl had a tank top on, and I think it said wet T-shirt across or something, and she was drenched, and the camera just goes and pans in and sits on it.
Right,
and
exactly.
that honestly was funny.
Yes.
I was not turned on by that. I just thought it was really funny that it zoomed in and just stuck there. It goes back to guys in a bar. It wasn't terrible, but the laugh track kills this part. I think they're talking about sending the waitress comes and it's kind of loud, and they're talking about they're sending drinks down to us, but they're still charging.
But we still have to pay for them. Just because we fell in a hole, it doesn't mean we get free beverages.
Yeah, I thought
and
that.
Finally,
was
the wife's like, "Hey, you know what? I know you're at the bar. I know you're watching the sports.
Yeah.
When it's over, come home."
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Network break 3.
Roll credits.
Logo.
Back to security. You got Fred Armisen talking about blinking again. It's mildly entertaining.
I love the blink thing.
You do love it.
The blink part of it.
Okay. So again, you got credits. You got Blink 182. You got the logos. More blinking, and that's it. And I tell you what, we got some turbulence coming up.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
This show didn't work.
No, it didn't.
Sometimes I say, hey, why didn't this show? I'm telling you right now, this show did not work.
But I'll tell you what, when I looked at the lineup before I started watching them, I was like,
high hopes.
Yes.
And so you should. This is a cavalcade of A-list alternative comedy. A lot of these people had not hit
some
their
of these
stride.
are the founders of alternative comedy.
Sure, these are the grandfathers of alt comedy, and they're not. Some of these people had not hit their full stride in 2002, but you got people who they came out of 4 years of Mr. Show. A lot of these guys did,
right.
So they knew to a degree what they were doing. A lot of them seasoned stand-up comedy guys. It didn't work because they were pigeonholed by a network, but it's their own damn fault. Right. They should have never said, "Oh yeah, we'll do a network show." Their comedy does not transfer. It's got to be a little gritty. It's got to be a little dirty.
I tell you, it's one of those things where they got high off Mr. Show. They had success in a way.
Yeah,
it was on HBO, and maybe they did Bob Odenkirk. They're like, I can do this. I can write funny stuff for network television. You've said it in the past. The more restrictions breeds.
Limitations breed creativity.
Right. On this aspect of this happening, no.
This is on the bad end of it.
This is what happens when it doesn't work.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Well,
mainly because I said half of it. But yeah, I mean they
fuck me. No, fuck you.
These guys, they had success on HBO being dirty. They could get some boobs out. They could drop some F-bombs. They could be weird and grotesque, and people liked it. And honestly, it's not a perfect show. I think I own all the Mr. Show episodes, and a lot of it is funny. It's starting to become dated humor at this point.
Sure.
But they definitely had more freedom and could be more of what they are and what they're supposed to be.
Right.
And to try to ease off the gas pedal by going to a network, it did not work. I think what I would do to improve this is probably have stuck around on a pay channel.
Right.
Or I don't know. What else? I don't know.
You have to.
Yeah.
These guys, is humor, for the most part, these guys' humor does not fit in this. They're a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, Sarah Jessica Parker style. Adam Devine, he's one of the 3 workaholics guys. He's the one that's kind of doing well.
Sure, yeah, he is doing well.
He had his own show I called Adam Devine's House Party. It's okay, have you heard of this?
I've seen it on Hulu. I haven't watched it yet.
They could have done something like that. You know, they could have had another HBO show where it was maybe one of those guys and he had comics come on, or, you know, like Colin Quinn had Tough Crowd a few years later on Comedy Central. They could have maybe not had everyone go over, but kind of spun off and done different things within HBO or Showtime or Stars, you know, somewhere in there to have original content that's more aligned with their sensibilities.
Sure.
That's what I would have done to improve it. And if I don't think I would have liked to have seen this survive. I did not enjoy this.
No, I didn't. It was painful to watch. And it was, and then, you know, I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna give a surprise prize to the listeners, and I suffered so you could have a surprise prize.
Yeah. So did I. Let's start our final descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
I've never wanted to land a plane like I do right now.
And you're wow, that's. I mean, we're talking Tribe, we're talking Crystal Cube. That is unnerving to hear. That's unnerving to hear. I'm just going to say that. Okay. IMDb score. Guess.
Again, you're going to have Mr. Show Anats. They're going to have Odenkirk lovers. Zach Galifianakis. They just see his name on it. They're going to assume it's good. They probably gave it a 7.5.
6.3.
Yeah, I gave him too much credit.
Viewer reviews, much better than what it got passed for. Now, we said before it got passed for Cedric the Entertainer Presents. I never saw that show.
Saw it. We can't.
It must have had more than one episode because we're not doing it on this show.
Right.
And we would have heard about it by now. I can't put it against that because I don't know what that was. I would imagine maybe it was better.
Right.
Maybe Cedric did have a better show.
Sure.
7 out of 10 scars from Eric is Hort. Or Eric is Short, my mistake, from the United States. I was fortunate enough to receive 2 pilot episodes of Next mailed to me by Bob Odenkirk, the show's creator.
Wow.
I met him out in Los Angeles in the summer of 2002 at the signing for HBO's Mr. Show with Bob and David. This happened right after Fox broke the news that they were going to pass on the show. Bob seemed quite distraught over the situation and really wanted people to see it. I think if given the chance, the show could have survived for quite a long run on a network like Comedy Central. But as usual, Fox executives wouldn't know a good show if it crapped comedy gold all over their collective faces.
Yeah, come on.
Next had loads of talent and solid writing with a fresh editing style.
No.
What's worst of all is that Fox passed on Next to do the horribly unfunny, short-lived Cedric the Entertainer Presents.
First of all, go back. Can you just read what his description? I'll stop you as I want to.
Sure. Next had loads of talent and solid writing. Okay.
Loads of talent, yes.
Yes.
Solid writing, no, not at all.
Fresh editing style.
No.
I don't think I know enough about editing to say whether it did or not. I would venture a guess to say no as well. This guy has a bias. He has a bias.
This guy got copies of this from the man himself.
He has a bias because he met the guy who was in it.
Bob Odenkirk.
He still gave it a 7, which is not perfect, but you know he was mailed copies of this by the show's creator.
Right.
I'm sure there's
because
a little
Bob
bit of
was proud of this. Bob, like I said again, he is going to stand behind whatever he does, and you have to do that.
Yeah.
In the hustle and bustle of Hollywood land, you have to stand behind. You can't show any weakness in a writer's room.
John Rogers.
You can't show a weakness in a writer's room.
Thanks, John.
John, call back.
Pretty darn funny. 8 out of 10 scars by Baroness of Bat Country, whatever the hell that means. From the U.S., I'm a huge Bob and David fan. I was lucky enough to find this little gem. There's so many great people in this show, blah, 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 blah,
Blah, blah, blah, yakety schmackety, boys.
I really love the 2 episodes of this show nearly as much as I love Mr. Show. In fact, a lot of the sketches play a little bit like Mr. Show. It absolutely does. If Bob and David were friends and Friends wrote more of the comedy on TV, it would be a better place. My only complaint about the show is that has to do with current events that are dealt with. I guess the show is made for network TV, and that's still a part of it. Still, I feel it's one of the most important things about Mr. Show is there is no time-sensitive material, and that would someday be less funny. And she's right. Time-sensitive material does quickly fade. And again, trying to do 22 episodes of SNL a year, they do rely fairly heavily between the political stuff at the beginning. Usually one of the first sketches is time-wise or time-sensitive, as well as Weekend Update. That's a lot of comedy to write for 22
And then after
episodes.
that, that's when you bring in the alternative stuff and the stuff that you're on the fence about, or the oddball stuff, like Goat Boy.
Yep, that's absolutely right. We've got a few more here. A hilarious 7 out of 10 scars. The Last Jinglist from Big City, USA. Let's see. Fox execs. Oh, so calling them out. 9 out of 10 scars from Steve 3651 from the U.S. Let's see. I'll read the end of his. One of the last problems Fox is their refusal to find a time slot for a show and stick to it. During the first run, Family Guy bounced around the schedule so much that it took a full-time assistant to track it. It's like they were playing Keep Away. TV audiences are creatures of habit, and Fox hasn't figured that out yet. So these people are on board with this show, and they are they would have liked to have seen it continue. I don't know that I'm one of these people.
No, I would not let them watch my children.
Not at all. Let's take this in for a landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11 and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
Bing bong. Bing bong.
Bing bong, the pilot's dead.
Bing bong. The pilot is dead. The wicked pilot. The mean old pilot. Ding dong, the wicked pilot is dead. We welcomed you to the show. We introduced ourselves. We bantered for you.
Gave you some contact information. Told you about frequent flyers.
Yeah. We gave you some interesting facts. We gave you a summary. We broke down the pilots. We gave you the interesting facts.
We basically did all the work.
We did every single bit of heavy lifting. You laid back in the chaise lounge with an Arnie Palmy and soaked in the sun. God bless you, everyone.
Probably got a hand job during it.
Maybe. I didn't look over there. I was too busy doing the heavy lifting.
Right.
Now, it's our turn. From the classic scale, 1 to 7, from the Wings TV show of the 1990s, 1 to 7 based on the popular characters from Wings, Roy Biggins being the worst, Brian Hackett being the best, 1 out of 7. Captain Philip, rest assured, I'm back to back with you. I'm doing a 180. I turn to you. What do you give next?
I want to Biggins this bitch, is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I have respect for Bob.
Yeah.
I have respect for Fred. Zach. I can't give him a Biggins.
Okay.
It's Biggins worthy. I'm gonna give it a 2.
This is 2 episodes in a row that we agree. I also give this a 2. There are a couple chuckle moments in here. It is not good.
No.
It is not the worst thing I've seen.
Right, because we both I think gave the Crystal Cube a 1.
You gave it like a 0 or some sub number
because I didn't laugh one time. This one I chuckled a couple times, and the only reason I chuckled a couple times is because I know what these guys have, the potential these guys have.
Yeah, giving them the benefit of the doubt. I did not let that play a factor in, or I probably would have given it like a 3 or a 4 if that were the case. This is not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it is not good. No. I would not recommend watching this. It could sully or it could put some of your favorite people in murky waters, and I would not want that for you.
It can make you sterile. It probably. I mean, if I wasn't done rearing children and taking my loins and procreating,
right,
I would probably have some issues.
Are you saying that your penis and testicles retracted into your body?
No, I'm saying that my semen
curdled,
swam the other way.
Oh, okay. Like, let's head in, boys. Job's done.
To get as far away from this computer monitor as possible.
Oh, boy. And with that, and thankfully with that, we close the book forever on Next. But we are not done. We'll never be done.
Never.
Never, ever, ever.
Until podcasting is illegal, which...
It's coming.
Thanks a lot, Obama.
Join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of Alabama. Here's
so play me some out of music. Like Grandma and Grandpa used to play.
They used to play
And I'll roll on down the river
down the river.
to a Cajun hideaway. Hey.
Here's a little something to wet your whistle. Takes place in a space with crew of spacefarers who are not too bright. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to Nerdist.com and search Alabama.
Did you say Nerdist.com?
Nerdist.com. Alabama. You can search This is the second of two pilot efforts by former members of the state, including Ben Grant, Thomas Lennon, and probably others. I haven't looked into it yet. Too much. So, Hey Neighbor, not great.
One of our highest downloaded shows.
Yeah. It was not great. And I don't have high hopes necessarily for
Michael Ian
Alabama.
Black didn't think it was great.
But I'm looking forward to watching. I don't have high hopes for it, but I'm looking forward to watching it.
He doesn't have high hopes. Wow, God damn it. That always gets me right in the back of the head.
We told you earlier, but I'll mention it real quick again. Go to couchpilotspodcast@gmail.com with any of your suggestions, requests. If you know about a pilot we don't, let us know. We'll move it to the front of the line. We'll knock it out of the park. Go to fcfnetwork.com. If you like this show, you're going to love our other shows. Sex with Heather. What we got? Drunken Lullabies. The Song Inside and Out. Low Blow Podcast. What else? The IBWIP. S&M Radio. A lot of good stuff out there.
It's so much good stuff.
A lot of good stuff. And here's the thing. It's all free. We're not going to charge you.
No. Why would you charge somebody when you know how excellent it is? There's no reason to.
We're not going to charge you. Go out there, subscribe. Oh, did you find something?
I'm just going to run down a little bit. You want me to run down a few cast members?
Of Alabama?
Yes.
I guess.
Thomas Lennon.
Yeah. The end.
Natasha Leggero.
Oh, back again.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find her place in this world. You got anyone else?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to say to any of our frequent flyers before we go?
I thank you guys for everybody for their support, downloading the shows, telling people about it. We hope you're enjoying it. We hope you're learning something. We're hoping you look at television in a completely different way. And I hope that if you saw us in public at any time, you would hug us, because we're that close to you guys. I would hope that we're like family members now.
Yeah, I would hope if you guys see Blake out in public, you hug him.
Hug you too, Jason.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Come on.
They wouldn't recognize me.
Why wouldn't they? You're the face of Couch Pilots.
You and I are both the face.
No, you're the face.
Right.
I'm a guy that does all the stuff in the middle.
Oh, boy. This pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, lady. I love you. Bye-bye.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.